I think if you're able to be understanding that this is a journey, and instead of thinking of everything as having a destination, and knowing that you are going in the right direction, that will free you from a lot of heartache.
Welcome everyone in the Dream Life Track podcast, where we talk about stories of successful online entrepreneurs. Today I have a very special guest with me, Serena Dodd. She is an online business coach. She helps driving coaches to get to that next level using positive psychology, mindset mapping, and she does this through her signature stellar strategy, so they can fulfill their potential and thrive. Hi, Serena. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Beautiful. Yeah. So we already caught up with a few things. We got great energy here, and I got the first question ready for you. Look,
go for it.
If I would not know you, right, or if a listener would not know you, how would you tell them your story of how you have become a full-time online entrepreneur, right? What's the story behind your approach and success?
Well, I mean, it's so interesting because we've just caught up for about 5 minutes, and it sounds like we have quite a similar background. I used to work in events. I used to work in the corporate world, and about 4 years ago, I got to a point where I was completely burnt out, and I hadn't been enjoying it for a really long time, but I was really good at it. I was making good money from it, and everyone said what a great job I had, and I was flying all around the world. I mean, what's not to love? So I just got to a point where I'd had enough, and I remember one particular incident where I was not well and completely overwhelmed and completely burnt out to the point where I lost my sight, which is really interesting when you're walking down the street. So I decided then that I was going to leave, like close my business down and leave. And I had no idea what I was going to do. So I went to visit my family who live in the Middle East. And I just decided all I wanted to do was just get better. So just get healthier, eat better, exercise. And I started to listen to podcasts about changing career. And it sort of led into listening to more podcasts about mindset and changing career. And I really understood and got into the psychology behind life coaching. And I felt very much aligned with the fact that it made sense to me. It had this scientific backing, and a lot of people that were sharing this experience had come from the corporate background and had quite a similar experience to me. So it didn't feel fluffy. It felt very straight, which is what I needed at that time. And I had no idea what I was letting myself in for. I'd read lots of self-help books, and I love the psychology behind life coaching. And I went down this path, and I realized, I'm not going to be teaching. I'm not going to be coaching people one-on-one in person. I am going to do this online, which of course then opens up this fantastic world of freedom, location freedom, as you've mentioned before. And I just got into this industry quite naively. And I love it. I absolutely love what I do. And I think that if someone had told me back then what I'm doing now, it probably would have scared me to the point of not being able to do it. And I'm so glad that every day I learn more about my industry, and I learn more about how to build my business online. So that's it in a nutshell, really.
Right. So this transition happened like 3-4 years ago, right?
About 4 years ago, yeah.
Right. Where were you located at that time?
I was in London at that time. So specifically like Southeast London.
Right. And when did you move to London? When did you live in Australia as well?
Well, I wasn't always. I didn't actually live in Australia. I spent time there. My family was there, and that I was probably about 22 years ago. So quite a long time ago. I was a student, and so it was quite a nice place to go when you were a student.
Yeah.
And then I moved to London about 2005. Around that time. So I've been in London for quite some time, about 15 years.
Right. How did you get this job in London?
Well, I actually started off working in the States in LA for a company called BAFTA, which is it's a non-profit television organization. And so I got that through pure persistence. And back then there was email, of course there was email, but everyone was faxing. So that was the big thing. And I faxed to lots of people in the States saying, I'm coming over and will you interview me? And I eventually got one out of the 72 that I wrote to that said, yes, I'll interview you when you're here. And within 5, I got so excited in my head, I got the job and everything else, and no idea what the job would be, but I got the job. And within 30 seconds, he was like, there's no job, but I just wanted to meet you. And he said, however, there's a job going at BAFTA. Are you interested? And I said, yes, I am interested. So I scooted over to the other side of LA and had a chat with the CEO, and I got the job. So from there, I ended up doing award shows I did an award show in LA, and then I came over back to the UK and I did an award show for the UK, and subsequently ended up working in television in London.
Right. And what is that got you overwhelmed and burned out with doing this work?
I was always the type of person that put career first. So whatever happens, I have a battle with perfectionism, and I really do like things to be good. If I put my energy into it, then I'm all in. And in the world, I moved from television straight into events after about 5 or 6 years. And that is a very demanding, very off the cuff industry. So one minute you could have no work, and the next minute you could be in Dubai working on Formula One, and, having 4 hours of sleep and, rigging up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the industry that you're in. So there were never any jobs that I did that weren't completely and utterly full on. Right. So that's how it led to burnout, because I just didn't give myself a break.
It was also physical, mental burnout, right? Emotional, probably. You're just like scattered, right? Or something.
Totally. And it was many, many years of it. It was many years of constant work and not enough balance.
Got it. Right. So, and then you started reading. I mean, you dropped out. You said no more, right? And you took some break, right?
That's right. I'd had
one
an incident, and I was just done. I wasn't happy for about 5 years before I quit the industry, and I decided that's it. Like back in, I think it was 2018. Said that's it, no more. 2017, something like that.
Right. Yeah. And you said you started reading books and stuff like that. I had already a question in my mind before when you were saying that, right? Did you study any of self-development and entrepreneurship and all these kind of things before when you had that job? I mean, did you kind of grow through learning and all these things?
I had been reading self-help books since I was about 18. So it was always something that interested me. But it never crossed my mind that could be my job. And I had started a business back in 2012. So I had learned on the job. And my mindset has always been quite entrepreneurial anyway. I take a lot of responsibility, and I do understand quite a good level of business. So that has been in the background for years. The both sort of combined quite nicely.
Mm-hmm. So how did you come across the idea that you could step into coaching, right, and helping others?
I decided that once I was completely and utterly burnt out, I decided that, and I was offered a job actually in San Francisco, and anything for me to go to the States, I'd jump at the chance. And instantly I said, no, I said, I'm not interested. I don't want to do this. And I said, I don't care what it is. I don't care if I have to take a year out. I'm leaving. So, I left, and I wanted to focus on my health, and getting sort of back on my feet again. And so every day I was walking, I was eating well, and I started to listen to some podcasts about changing career. And that led to changing career and mindset. And the more I started listening to work on mindset, it started to really resonate with me. I'm like, oh, I've kind of heard this before in my books. And the person that I was listening to the whole time, she had the same experience, burnout. She was a CEO of a big tech company, not fluffy. She was great. And within the space of 6 weeks, I signed up on her course to become a certified life coach.
All right. That's how you came into, right? So you actually studied life coaching at first, right? Mindset.
I studied life coaching and weight coaching. So I'm a certified life and weight coach.
Good. And all right, 6 weeks of a course program. What did you learn there?
Oh, no. The course was a year. I spent 6 weeks not working. I spent 6 weeks just kind of getting myself back.
Right. Yeah. All right. So 1 year course, right, program. What did you learn there? What was that? Those few golden nuggets? What really inspired you?
Well, I spent 6 months getting certified, and then the following 6 months I spent in sort of business entrepreneurship. So that was all still part of the annual course. For me, it's the thing that swayed me into this space was if any of your listeners are listening and they've had any form of breakdown, or they've had anxiety attacks or panic attacks or anything, or they're just spending a lot of their time not in a good space, when you hear that the fact that your feelings are within your control, you don't believe that. And when you feel a certain way, you just don't want to feel that particular way. So the golden nugget for me initially was the fact that we create our feelings through the way that we think. And we always have an option of how to think. Our brains are just completely programmed, because we've got healthy brains, if we think a thought enough, it becomes a belief, and we don't need to think that thought. It just comes automatically. And 90% of our 60,000 thoughts a day are automatic. So we're automatically going to think something, and that becomes a belief, and we don't realize it. So being able to understand that and know that I can hack into those neural pathways and create different thoughts that I still believe, but they're different, they're going to make me feel better. That was the key for me. That was the golden nugget to get me into this space, because that can apply across the spectrum on anything that you want to achieve.
Right. So it's like a hack, right? Is it decision making that directs that ability of changing, then your thoughts and emotions? I mean,
it's like anything. If you want to change, you will you'll take certain actions to change. But that wants to change is a sentence and a thought in your head, which creates that feeling of, maybe it's determination, which creates that action to change. But for me, it was it made logical sense. It's scientifically proven. Each thought that you have is energy, and that energy is transferred into the body as a feeling. And every single feeling that you have creates an action. So if you feel hungry, whether you're hungry or not, psychologically, but if you feel hungry, you'll want to eat, or you'll go to eat. if you feel sad, you might want to, I mean, I revert everything back to food because I love it. So if you feel sad, you might want to eat. If you feel happy, you might want to eat. But if you feel, if you feel determined, you might want to push yourself to do uncomfortable work. So everything that you feel creates the actions that you take, which ultimately creates the results in your life. So it's a big old cycle. And that for me was such a key tool and a key learning. And I use it to this day, and I use it for everything that I do.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. We're going to actually come back to this later when I ask you a little more about your methods. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So good. So you were studying, right? The program, the course, you kind of got educated, right? You learned a few techniques, tricks, hacks, right? And then how did you start working with your first clients, and how did you develop kind of your expertise, your skills? You improved your approach, right? You discovered your gifts. What was that transition into then doing a business out of it?
Great question. So I actually got my first client before I certified. I was doing some free coaching for one of the peers that were also in the group. And she had been working with me with about 6 weeks. We'd been coaching each other. And she said to me, you would be a great coach for my husband. Her husband was actually a CEO of a civil engineering company in the States. Which, of course, terrified me, because who am I to be coaching anyone, let alone someone who's a CEO of a big company in an industry that I don't even know? So, but I said yes. Of course, you say yes. And before I certified, I started to coach him. And after a few weeks, I ended up coaching 2 of his team members. And I coached him for about 8 months. He was my first client. I really enjoyed coaching him. And as I started to coach him and his team, I realized my strength was very much in strategy and having that balance of mindset and strategy. So that's how that developed.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, okay, that was a good breakthrough, right? I mean, great experience. Yeah. Right? So how did that coaching and work with that CEO, that person look like week to week session, or,
Yeah, so they always have access to me during the course of the week via Slack. But it was always an hour a week. And with any of my clients, if they need more, I will give more. Often they don't, because they're very much independent people. They're leveling up in whatever business sector. Most of my clients, and any of your clients, any of your listeners listening to this, you can be as niche as you want to be. But if you've got a reputation, people will want to work with you regardless of your niche. It's whether you want to take them on or not. When I first started out, I didn't have a niche. So I just went along the journey of let's just coach anyone. And that works to a certain extent. But if you want to be taken seriously and you want to be seen as an authority, you must have a niche.
You need to pick something that you want to be known for, right? And you become known for, right? Good. So, all right, you worked with him, right? And then another 2 clients, teammates and so on, right? What happened then? What was the transition? Because these were local clients. Were they local or through Zoom, Slack? Where were they from?
These were on Zoom, and they were in Utah, so they weren't local.
Right. All right. But they were building local businesses, right?
They were building local businesses, correct?
Right. So what happened next thereafter? Because now, right, you work with coaches who build their businesses online, right?
Yeah, correct. So halfway through, so about 3 months into coaching, I managed to get a couple more clients, but 3 months into coaching, I onboarded a high-level performance coach that I worked with for a year. And we worked together to become a lot more niche and to really focus on the right type of people for me. And initially, I wanted to work with people like me who wanted to transition into a different career. and like this world, like this industry is ever evolving. You never know, that might happen again one day. But what I was finding was I wasn't working with the right with the mindset, and I wasn't experienced enough with the types of individuals that I wanted to get. So individuals that had never really heard of mindset coaching, life coaching, transformational coaching, and wanted to transform. It was quite difficult to target those people. So I was speaking to my coach, and he was like, you are building your business. You are 5 steps ahead of people who are just starting out. Why don't you work with coaches? And I thought, well, to be honest with you, that for me is very credible, because I still understand and feel the pain of being a new coach. And I have picked up some great strategies along the way. So I started working with new coaches, and that now has led me to work with coaches who are no longer new, who are ready to sort of up level in their business, but also their lives, because you know what it's like. If you've got a business, it turns into your life, not because you are working all the time, but because if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're aligned with it, your heart and soul goes into it. No matter what you do, you're always thinking about the business.
Yeah, and I often mention that, right? It becomes part of your lifestyle. It becomes your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good. So you transitioned then. Cool. So how long did that take? Like 1 or 2 years, this transition?
To go from working with new coaches to more experienced.
Yeah, to discover that idea.
That took about 18 months. Yeah.
Yeah. When you hired a high-end coach, that she would help you up level, or he, I'm not sure. But anyways, what did you learn there? What was that mindset shift and that next thing that really helped you?
Sales. Like I learned from him the art of selling, and being able to sell with soul, and understanding that if you've got a unique offer and you are in a good market, that you don't need to sell. Like the persuasion level lowers, because you're not having to try, because what you're giving someone is of such huge value. So when you are talking to someone on a sales call, it becomes less about, which I know a lot of coaches dread, and it's what I teach now. It's what a lot of coaches dread. They absolutely hate the idea of selling something that they don't actually necessarily believe in. But if you believe in your offer and you believe in the value that you are providing to people, then what's to sell? The sell sells itself, because you're just telling people how great this opportunity really is.
Right. You can just make wonders. You can, if you got that belief up, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you just want to help that other person to get to the same level, right? I understand that, right? So, all right, sales was one thing, right? And then what about the marketing part? For example, social media part, marketing, attraction, and getting people kind of to either reach out to you or have that conversation with you. I mean, did you learn that from him as well, or did you?
No, I did a course actually on Instagram for Instagram. I've done several different types of ways of learning. I teach myself, so I taught myself how to create a Facebook group in depth, not a Facebook group where I can just like do, which is just get one up and whatever. I learned how through YouTube. I disciplined myself to create a decent Facebook group with a lot of credibility, and I spent 12 weeks on an Instagram course where I learned about everything from hashtags to understanding posts and stories and the updates on Instagram and all the things, and direct messaging and the art of direct messaging. And I could not believe that people would actually contact other people on Instagram on a consistent basis to get clients. I just didn't think it could work. But of course I did it, and I do it frequently, and it does work. It's a really great platform to create connection.
Right. Got it. Two things here. The first one is, what's your Facebook group?
It's called the Coaching Nest, and it's for coaches who, there are so many great Facebook groups out there that are all about, selling. And this particular Facebook group is for coaches who need to be nurtured. And it's not about the softly approach, but it's about saying, actually, we all have our own lane. We all have our own journey, and stick to your lane, stick to your journey. We're all here to support you. So that's what the Coaching Nest is about.
Right. And send me over the URL. I'm going to attach it, right?
Great.
Okay, good. And the second thing is, Instagram, right? I almost forgot now what was the question I wanted to ask. Probably something about, maybe that. For example, do you think it's easier to get a client, for example, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, if that person is kind of a professional entrepreneur or whatever, or if someone is a life coach and tries to get a regular person as a client, if you know what I mean?
Tell me, what are you saying? You think it might be easier? Do I think it's easier to find a professional or someone just who's
got a regular job, right? And I mean, is it easier to get a client for a business coach, to get a life coach as a client, or is it harder or easier for a life coach to get a client, right?
I think, to be honest with you, for me, it's I don't target people who aren't coaches or who aren't wanting to grow their businesses.
All right. So even from the beginning here, right? You already went for professionals, right?
Of course. So I mean, that was part of. It's important to really understand who your ideal client is, who your avatar is, and and to understand where you can find them. So even if I was looking for someone in, let's say, the events industry, which was where I'd come from, again, they would be that type of person that I know I could target in certain groups. They might not be on Instagram. They'll probably be on LinkedIn. So it's about targeting the right platform and the right people. Because as soon as you start doing that, there's no point in me targeting the events industry on Instagram generically to other coaches, because I'm not going to get anywhere with that. The only way that I can get somewhere is to say, okay, where are they hanging out? How often do they come online? Are they online? Do I need to be calling up event agencies and event companies and event departments to get them to know who I am?
Yes, I got it. So anyone can be found, right? No matter, cool. What was so this journey went for 2, 3, 4 years, right? You being a coach, right? What was the biggest challenge there for you?
My biggest challenge was my mindset around social media, because I never had I had a social media account, but I didn't even put my name on it. So I made up a name. So anyone who wanted to be my friend on Facebook, they had to tell me that they wanted to be my friend, and I'd give them the name. So I didn't like to be visible. So if anyone is listening and they hate being visible, I get it. It was a real struggle for me. I actually wasn't willing to be visible until about 18 months ago. And even it took a long time. I still struggle with it today. But I struggle with it knowing that it's a great thing, right, to be able to help people. And I see it as a higher vision now than I used to.
Right. Would you be on social media if it wouldn't be for your business?
No. There's no way. It's not. The social media aspect for me is purely business, and actually I get to a point where I do love writing the copy for it. I like sharing the copy, but no, it's a business tool for me.
Right, got it. I mean, so you are more like, in the old times, right? They had that private, local, social environment and those kind of things, right? I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
If totally. That's what that's my natural go-to. I don't love the idea of constantly looking for stuff to put on social media. I'm very much a person in integrity, and I feel very aligned with being present and in the moment. And I feel social media can take elements of that away. So if I'm talking to someone, I don't want to be thinking, should I take a photo of this, or shall I do this, or should I do this? Right. Of course, now it's for business and it's very different, and that's fine. But for my personal life, that's not an area that I like to venture in too much.
Got it. Yeah, I understand. Now, so you got ahead with it, right? And you discovered your signature method through which you help, a person, right? First of all, what's that one biggest result that they get out of working you? And what are if you would need to put your method into 5 steps or so, what would those steps be?
I have 7 steps.
7 steps, no problem. We can go by 7.
When working with me, the results are more sales, more clients, and just a different mindset around it. So I have like a 3-pillared approach, and it's everything that I have discovered on my journey and I know to be true in order to get over those hurdles, get over those limiting beliefs, and to create success in your life. And I don't necessarily mean monetary success only. I mean success in that. My everything to do, my whole vision is liberation. So it's about freeing yourself from all these limited beliefs, so that as you grow as a business, you're growing as a human, and you grow that capacity to have and know that life can be as limitless as you want it to be. So I work really hard with people to get them into that headspace, right, so that they can then leave and go on their way and understand that they are going to be okay, that life will be bad sometimes, it'll be good sometimes, but it's about managing both. So the pillars that I work with, the three pillars that I work with is strategy, because everyone wants to know how. So there is that element of strategy. There is the element of mindset, which I certified earlier this year as a positive psychology coach, and that works with my life coaching. So it really helps people from a mind perspective. And I'm just in the process of becoming a certified breathwork facilitator. And what that means, so there's sort of the mind, body, and strategy side of it. And a lot of the times, if you're left in procrastination, or if you're stressed, or if you're overwhelmed, and it can be a very isolating industry, being in the coaching industry, and being isolated and seeing everyone doing so much and all the things that you can compare yourself with, to be able to use a strategy like breath work, or a modality like breath work, and within the space of 6 minutes, change your state, change your energy state, then suddenly, if you want to then think about your mindset, it is far easier to change your mindset and actually get on and do the work, rather than sit in procrastination, right, feel like it's never going to happen for you, look at everyone who's succeeding and berate yourself for not succeeding. So it's really important that those 3 elements come together in order to get to that next level.
Right. So is the third element the body?
Yeah.
The third pillar?
Yeah, the third pillar is the body.
Right. Okay.
So that's using your breath work and using breathing techniques in order to calm the central nervous system.
True. So I understand. I mean, through activation of your body, right? I mean, even the mind and the emotions, all the stuff becomes smoother. Like there is some things are moving, right? I mean, I activate my body through my physical activity every day, right? And after you finish your training, your physical exercise, you are like ready, right? You are like fresh, smooth, and
absolutely. And I think it's different for everyone. I mean, some coaches do tapping,
right?
Some do RTT hypnotherapy. everyone's got their own modality. I have done a lot of different modalities and experienced a lot, but breathwork for me is something that really was effective, can happen and change your state really quickly, and really has such psychological and physical benefits to it. That it made me think this is exactly what you need in order to change state. You start at a cellular level, and that then allows the brain to start opening up far more pathways of possibility than if you are just constantly struggling to change your mind, like, let's get over this hurdle, to be able, for your body to be able to feel like it's in the flow and ready to be open to change, really helps you get over your barriers a lot easier.
Yeah, I understand it. How open are other life coaches to your suggestions about, mindset and body approach for them?
Hugely open, actually.
Right.
As soon as I started working on breath work, it hasn't been as popular. Like, so many people are interested, even people who are not coaches. They want to know, because we all have access to it. It's free. We can breathe, and we have the capacity to really change our mental state just by spending 5 minutes in a certain breathing pattern, or 45 minutes in a certain breathing pattern, where you can really have a massive transformation. Right. So to be able to do this work and see the benefits, I don't need to tell you. You can experience it within 5 minutes, and then let me know in 10 minutes how the process has gone for you. So it's a great modality.
Right. And to do that, it takes some effort, right? And a decision that you're gonna go and do, like sit down, right, and start breathing, right? Probably deep breathe. I don't know, like, how does it work? But a person needs to make a decision that he or she's gonna do that, right?
Absolutely.
So again, it's moving out of that comfort. I don't know even if procrastination is not really a comfort zone. I don't know. It's not that comfortable. It's boring, right? It's like devastating. Anyways, but you still need to take action, right?
Totally. And I think with a lot of people, and I say this from my own personal experience, you procrastinate and you think, oh, well, you hear something like breath work, or you hear about workouts or something else, and you think, that's a waste of time. I've just got to get on with the work. And yet you're not getting on with the work. So the 5 minutes that you could have taken to breathe or meditate or, to journal, whatever it is that actually just allows your consciousness to start tapping into the subconsciousness, so that you know what's in your head, and you can start moving forward. Procrastination takes so much longer. We always think that if we just say, let's just keep doing it, let's just do the work, and yet we're not really doing the work. It's better the 5 minutes that it takes to change your state through whatever modality, right, is far more beneficial.
So that's the thing. It's better to actually go, to the site and do that 5-10 minutes relaxation or whatever, right? And then get energized, get empowered, and then go back to work. I mean, you did not waste time. Actually, kind of, you just bought yourself better emotional state and approach, and the work is gonna be smoother, right? You're gonna catch up, anyways, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You will get to that emotional state, and you can do it. Depending on the type of breath work that you do, it can last 24 hours. It's really incredible. Or you can do it twice a day if you're finding that you need a little booster, but it really doesn't take that long.
Yeah, I see. So you already mentioned probably what was the hardest thing to overcome, so you achieved your kind of online business breakthrough, right? That you kind of got ahead. Was it getting used to social media or anything else?
Yeah, it was once I was fine talking. I could do podcasts. I could talk away to people. I felt very happy in that space. I was writing articles. That's not a problem for me. What was a problem was being visible online and sort of what I felt was exposure. And so I had to battle that quite a lot. And I've realized the more that I do, the more I want to do. So the more I'm out there and serving people and helping people, the more I want to continue doing that. So it will never, I know it will never be my favorite thing, but that is okay, because no matter what we do in life, we'll always do something that we don't particularly love. But I understand it far better. I have a better following, and there are parts of it that I actually now do enjoy.
Right. So basically, you can kind of fall in love with that thing. I mean, it becomes like a passion kind of as well. I mean, doing this work, putting stuff on social media, right?
You have to, I wouldn't say I love it, but I do, I do it. And there are elements that I enjoy now. Okay. And you have to be dedicated. You cannot, this is if you're creating a business, this is not a part-time job. If you were employed and someone said your job is to put X amount of posts out a week and you have to do this, you have to do the work. So I always like the idea of, at the beginning of the week being the boss of you and saying, right, this is what is going to need to happen in order to speak to X amount of people by the end of the week. You need to put out this amount of posts. You need to do these amount of stories. You need to do this reel or this live or whatever it is. And you do it. The problem that we have as business owners is we negotiate too much with ourselves. If we're just told by ourselves as the boss saying, this is what you've got to do, and you had consequences if you didn't do it, but then you do it.
There is no easier way, like you cannot get yourself to not do things because you will never be successful in any way, right? There is a fine line between how much you need to do or not to do. I mean, it's your job to overcome and figure it out in no matter in which any way. You gotta figure it out how you're gonna do this. I mean, there are many options. You can do stuff on your own, or you can outsource it to different other people, but still, there is a fine line between, not doing enough of it or doing right enough or even more right of it. Anyway, so how did you overcome that kind of procrastination or whatever against you getting out there on social media? Was there any?
No, I then got another coach. I got a different coach, and she didn't give me an option. She just said, if you want a successful business, this is what you have to do. At which point it reminded me of when I was climbing a mountain years ago, quite a high mountain, and it was about midnight and I wanted to get to the top, but I also didn't want to get to the top because I wanted to moan and cry and it's cold and it's this and it's this. And I remember getting told, you have an option now. You either go down or you come up. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, I just need to get on with it. And that's what I did. I shut up and I just got on with it. And this was a very similar experience. This was, she just turned around to me and she said, you want to make something of yourself in this industry, you have to do social media. So get going. Good.
So you got that warrior in you, right?
I just thought, right, if essentially it boils down to what you want in life. So if the world's moving in this direction, then so be it. And you move with it and you make you shine your light in the best way that possible.
Right. And often you gotta shine your light for yourself.
Yeah, you shine your light for yourself in order to help others.
As well, yeah, of course. Good. What's your life purpose? What's your vision?
My vision for my business. My vision for my business and my vision personally are the same. So it's about, as I've mentioned before, it's about liberation. It's about getting free of all the sort of demons that happen as you grow up and all the sort of self-limiting beliefs that, I definitely had 5-6 years ago, of not being able to do things and not fulfilling the dreams that I wanted as a teenager or in my early 20s. We get to a point towards our late 20s where we mentally settle. Either we've settled with a partner and we might have a mortgage, or we settle in our jobs because we've reached a certain point, and we still might be ambitious, but all these things, and our mind sort of settles on this is life now. And so therefore the big dreams, they kind of disappear, and we tell ourselves even more that we can't do things, or we can't, we're not very good at something, and that's just us, and that's just how we are. And doing the work that I've done over the past few years has literally been freeing. It's been completely freeing of all those limiting beliefs and all that understanding. I don't believe sitting here now that I can't do something. If I wanted to put my mind to it, I could do it. But it doesn't mean that it will come with a lot of pain and a lot of stress and maybe a lot of sacrifice and heartache and whatever. But if you have that mentality to do, that's where my vision comes from. And that's what I want to project onto my clients and the people that follow me, is that idea of being freed. So it's not freedom, it's liberation.
Yeah. What's the emotion behind it? If someone is able to achieve this, like, how do you feel in yourself?
Passion, I think, is the, you're on this planet once. And so, yes, some people it's about being centered and content with yourself. If you are centered at home and you are centered with your family and you enjoy getting up, looking after the kids and cooking for them, and you are centered, you are in an amazing space. You are successful in my eyes. If you are someone who is climbing the corporate ladder, and you are, you finally made managing director of a company and you love it, then you are successful in my eyes. If you are at home feeding the kids, feeling miserable, hating your life, if you are climbing that corporate ladder to get to where you want to be, and it's not where you want to be at all, it's where society has told you, or your mind has told you, society has said, this is where you need to be, then you are not free. You are trapped. And so what comes from liberation is passion to have a more successful life in whatever way you deem success to be.
Beautiful. A lot of energy there.
Yeah, I felt a lot of energy there.
You see, like, all right, if you free yourself, you find yourself, you center.
Get free.
You find some contentment there. If you are yourself, like, wow, good. So that's, good answer, right?
Thanks.
What is that you would advise to someone who is starting out right now with building their online business?
It's a good question. If you are passionate and you are determined and you know that you have more to give, there's no question. You have to do this. You have to go into the field that you want to go into. If it's coaching, you have to do it. Right. And know that it's fine to fail, and it's fine to not have good days, and it's fine to have doubts and all the things. We all have them. There's not one person who is successful that doesn't have those types of emotions that come into play. The successful ones just continue. So yes, I would say go, if you've got those three key elements, go for it.
Right. And just continue and just keep up with your vision, with whatever drives you in there, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that, people would break?
Yeah.
And they would give up, right?
Yeah. Most people give up. Most people give
up.
Do
they? Right?
Yeah, only 5% of people succeed.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I remember going years ago to a business convention, and it was really boring. By the way, it was totally dull, and it was mainly selling people mainly selling their merchandise. And one guy got up there and he started giving a talk about his journey of entrepreneurship, and he said, "I'm just going to tell you all now." All you people that are thinking of starting your business, only 1% of you will be sat here this time next year. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, that needs to be me. That needs to be me. And it's clear as like that was many, many years ago, but it's clear as life has gone on, more and more people have gone into this space, online space, entrepreneurship. And now 5% of people succeed and they don't quit. And, it's great to have a vision, but you have to want to be determined enough to fulfill that vision.
Yeah. Do you think that you have a certain goal right now that you don't think that you're going to be able to make it?
No. I don't think that I'm going to make it tomorrow.
Right.
The difference is my goal changed. So my goal initially was monetary, and now my goal, of course, there's an element of money. That's why I'm a business person. But I feel very much like you have to embrace the experience along the way. I don't want to be burnt out again and be that person who was always chasing. Now I'm in a space where I want to deliver really good value to my clients. I want to understand things myself, and I want to prove, these things to myself. And that happens every day in different ways. And I surprise myself. And with that brings more confidence. So I am living, that mentally I'm living a good life. It doesn't mean that I don't have, big goals financially and just in life, in dreams and everything else. And they'll come. I don't need them to be here tomorrow or even next year. I know I've got a bigger vision. So that makes me feel content.
Yeah, and you keep your vision alive anyways, and you're gonna do the work, you're gonna passionately do it, you're gonna move on, right? You get that? Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, because you see, that's the difference, right? If, for example, you have that passion, that motivation, that drive, right? But some people settle, right, for less. Yeah. Do you have extra 3-4 minutes, because it's already 1 hour? Just a few more questions, or do you have anything?
I do have an extra couple of minutes. Yes. Right.
It's just the last 4 questions, right? Quickly. So if you would be completely unknown, and we would drop you in the third world country somewhere, right? And potentially you would be one of them anyways, right? Without any resources, no knowledge, very limited online business knowledge, but you would have that desire. You would know that it's possible, and you would know that you want to do it. How would you build a full-time online business?
If I was in a third world country?
Right. For example, Africa or Philippines or Asia or whatever, right? Like...
Well, it helps because I grew up in Africa. So,
right.
So how would I do it? I would just, I suppose I would just go and find a place where I can get some Wi-Fi and just start again. That's the beauty of
no knowledge, right? Kind of, all right. Just
okay. So no knowledge, but say start up a new business.
So yeah, you get a Wi-Fi, all right, somehow, right?
Yeah. And
then what?
And my goal was to go ahead and become a coach. Okay.
Well, yes. To build a full-time online coaching business or whatever, right? Online, right?
I would spend time initially reading and teaching myself, whether probably would have to be online again. So would teach myself online. I would probably spend a lot of time, and this is what I did with this business. I would spend a lot of time. I'd know that was what I wanted to do, but a lot of what's really important in life is connection and relationships. So even though I would very much work to learn an industry, like part of the industry online, part of that comes with the cultural experience and the environment that you're in. So I would prioritize also speaking to people and chatting to people, because that might give me direction on what niche I want to go into and what ways I can help people. And it might be that I want to help people in that particular environment, which means that even though it's online, I can also have the benefit of getting sort of firsthand experience with stuff. So I think that for me, the reason that online works so well for me is because I also prioritize getting to know people in person. So I like meeting people randomly, and I like creating connection and relationships and that sort of thing. So that brings me a lot of energy.
Right. So if I get it correctly, get first Wi-Fi, then start studying this online world, right? Then get some connections, right? Go talk to people kind of and stuff like that. All right. And then what? How do you get that bigger exposure? Of course, through connecting with people, you get some, right? How do you position yourself? How do you get the first few clients and then more?
You tell people all the time what you're doing and, who you are, what you're doing, what your experience is. You let people know online, you let people know in person. And, you help people. In my experience, you help people for free for a little while, and you get an idea of who you can help and how you can help them by just offering your services as often as possible, and knowing, you do have to be in integrity. Coaching can be quite expensive, and you need to make sure that if you are charging certain things, that you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you have the confidence to help people. And so the only way that you can do that is by helping a lot of people. And if you're in a third world country, you need to be doing that for free, especially. So it's important that you're able to build up your credibility through your clients. And if that means spending time coaching, 10, 20 people for free, then you do it.
Right. I understand. Yeah. How long do you think would take you if that would be the case? Like 1, 2, 3 years? Just a quick question.
I think if you had no experience before, I would say about 3, 4 years to do it, to do it properly.
Right. I understand. Now, 2 terms to describe. What does the term the dream life track mean to
you? I think what I mentioned before, like the liberation, like there's nothing more freeing and dreamlike than being liberated from something and knowing that things are possible.
Right. And what would the term premium life mean to you, or living a premium life?
I suppose that's the combination, isn't it? It's the life that, it depends who you are. For me, it is about, the monetary value, is the monetary element of the business, and showing, areas of that in my life that I feel like, okay, I can afford to do this. I can afford to go on this luxurious holiday. I can afford to do a whole bunch of things. And that is one part of the result of hard work and the passion that I have for the business. But equally as important is, the prime life is appreciating all of that and feeling, gratitude, knowing that you've done it for yourself, but also no one's an island. You do it because of the people that you surround yourself with, whether, your clients, your friends, your family, everything you can, as long as you've got good connections in your life and you've built up, the lifestyle that you want, then that's the premium life.
Yeah, got it. It probably comes back all to that freedom, right? Of you being free and feeling it, right? And doing the things that you are passionate about, doing the work, being aligned, right?
Correct. Yes.
What we discussed before. Oh,
yes.
Good. Where do people find you? Probably on Instagram, right? On which social media channel?
That's right, Instagram. So you can find me at Serena Dodd Coaching on Instagram, or my Facebook group, which is the Coaching Nest. My website is currently in development, but that's serenadodd.com. But you can find that all on Instagram anyway.
Yes. So people can go there and follow you, right? Yes. Do you have anything to offer to the listeners or give away, or how can people take the first steps to work with you?
That's really interesting. So I do have a freebie, and it's really how to make your first steps on how to make your first 50K in business. And you can get that off my Instagram account.
Right. In bio, right?
In the bio, yeah.
Good. So, everyone, you can go check that, go get your download, right? Serena, that's it for now, right? We went through. Do you have anything very much inspirational to share? Anything to add to the complete story?
I think if you're able to be understanding that this is a journey, and instead of thinking of everything as having a destination, and knowing that you are going in the right direction, that will free you from a lot of heartache. Everything, no matter where you get to in life, will always have this ever-ending horizon. So just know that you imagine yourself in a sailboat and know that you're heading in a direction, and always take the first step forward.
Yes, this could be a description of the Dream Life Track. Last time I heard that, if you have a vision, you have a goal, and you are going toward that, right? You are creating your Dream Life Track. You are on it, but it's even better if you actually already come there and achieve it. And then you are kind of on the edge, right? You are already living your purpose, and you are kind of aligned, and you are on your Dream Life Track and going just like unlimited toward the end. Anyways, I'm not sure if that made complete sense, but
no, I get it. As soon as you hit the horizon, it goes a little bit further.
Right, it just keeps going, right? And you continue. But the point is, like, you gotta catch up with that dream of yours, and you gotta live it in this present moment, right? So That's the point, and then you're aligned. Maybe I need to create a metaphor of having the Dream Life Track and living a premium life, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to think about this anyways.
Yeah, think about it. Let me know. I want to know.
All right. Thanks, Serena, for doing this interview with me. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dream Life Track podcast, hosted by myself, Primoz Lazar, and Premium Life. Follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and don't forget to do everything to shape your destiny and start living your dream. Thank you, Serena, again, and God bless you, and have a great day, everyone.